Hello and hi everyone. I welcome you to my YouTube channel Tech Basics. In the previous video, we have discussed about first normal form and second normal form. I will give the link of that in my description part. Please go through that before you watch this video on third normal form and voice code normal form, that is BC and F. When you understand the first and the second normal form, it becomes easy for us to understand third and BC and F. So coming to third normal form, we say a relation is in third normal form if it is in second normal form and do not contain any transitive dependency. So if I go back and try to give you the definition of second normal form, we say a relation is in second normal form when it is in first normal form and when it do not contain any partial dependency. So in second normal form, we look for partial dependency. Partial dependency we mean a non-prime attribute depending only on a part of a candidate key and not on a whole of a candidate key. Now coming to third normal form, we need to understand here what exactly we mean by transitive dependency. So transitive dependency is wherein a non-prime attribute is going to depend on a non-prime attribute. A non-prime attribute depending on another non-prime attribute, we call it as partial dependency. So if there exists a it is called transitive dependency. Non-prime attribute depending on another non-prime attribute, we call it as transitive dependency. So if there exists a transitive dependency, then we say the relation is not in third normal form. Third normal form is also used in order to reduce the data duplication. As well, it is used to achieve the data integrity. Let's try to understand this more in detail. A table is said to be in third normal form only when it is in second normal form and should not have any transitive dependency. Transitive dependency we mean a non-prime attribute depending on another non-prime attribute. It is something like an irregular student in a class is dependent on another irregular student of the class. So that is where we call it as transitive dependency. So if an irregular student depends on another irregular student, there is no option for that student to get what exactly is happening in a class, which otherwise we call here as transitive dependency and so on. Let's try to understand this with an example. If suppose say there is a relation called R containing attributes like A, B, C, and the functional dependencies exist from A to B, B to C, and so on. So in this case, if you try to find the candidate key, you will get A as a candidate key, which means A is going to be your prime attribute and BC we can call them as non-prime attributes. So when A is a prime attribute and BC is non-prime attribute, then in our case, if you go by this functional dependency, B is dependent on A. So B is dependent on A. Non-prime attribute dependent on prime. So not a issue, and there exists no partial dependency because A is a candidate key over here. Now coming to this, C is dependent on B, where B is not a candidate key. That means it is not a prime attribute and C is not a prime attribute. So a non-prime attribute C is dependent on another non-prime attribute B. So here we say there exists no partial dependency in this, but there exists transitive dependency. So if there exists transitive dependency, then this particular relation is not in third normal form. So when it is not in third normal form, what is it we are going to do is we are going to decompose this in this fashion. A can find the value of B, so you can have AB in one relation, and B can find the value of C, so you can have BC in another relation, and so on. By doing this or by decomposing this, you can see over here an example which is given wherein attribute ABC has got the values in this fashion, and you can see over here there is a lot of duplication of values which is happening over here. But when you try to bifurcate this, then you will see the amount of duplication has been reduced over here. So when you go with third normal form, it definitely reduces the duplication of data which is happening in a given relation and so on. So once again, what is that we are trying to check in third normal form? We are going to check whether there exists a transitive dependency. What we mean by transitive dependency? A non-prime attribute depending on another non-prime attribute, which is happening over here. We have non-prime attributes over here as B and C is dependent on B. That means what? A non-prime is dependent on another non-prime. So we say there exists transitive dependency over here. So if there exists a transitive dependency, then we say relation is not in third normal form. Then we are supposed to decompose that. One more definition you can have for third normal form over here. You can say when there exists a functional dependency from alpha to beta, then you can also check whether the relation is in third normal form by this. Either your alpha has to be a super key or your beta should be a prime attribute. Either alpha should be a super key or beta should be a prime attribute. Then you can say your relation exists in third normal form. Let's go by an example here. There is a relation given over here which has attributes as A, B, C, D, E, and functional dependencies are A to B, B to E, and C to D. So if you find out here the essential attributes and the candidate key, we get AC as a candidate key over here. So when AC is a candidate key in this particular relation, what we need to understand is whether there exists any transitive dependency or not. So if you see AC is a candidate key, which means B, D, E all are non-prime, and E dependent on B, where E is non-prime, B is non-prime, we are going to call it as transitive dependency. A non-prime dependent on another non-prime is transitive dependency. So if there exists a transitive dependency, then you say your relation is not in third normal form, then you are supposed to decompose this in this fashion. A can find the value of B, so separate them. B can find the value of E, separate them. C can find the value of D, separate them. But if you have to get the values from all these relations, there should be something common in these relations. There should be one common attribute in this relation. So for that, what we do is we make one more relation with the help of the candidate key. So now you can find the values from all these relations because there exists some common attribute in all these relations and so on. So this is how we can decompose a particular relation, and thereby we can say that the relation after decomposition exists in third normal form. So what is that we are going to check in third normal form? In third normal form, we are going to check for transitive dependency. Transitive dependency is where you find a non-prime attribute dependent on another non-prime attribute. So if this kind of dependency exists, then you call it as transitive dependency. And if there exists transitive dependency, you say your relation is not in third normal form. One more example to understand. There is a relation called R wherein you have attributes as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and there are some functional dependencies which are given to us in this fashion. So if you go by these functional dependencies and the closure, first we'll find an essential attribute which is AB, and AB can find the values of or it can find out the values of all other attributes. Then AB is going to become your candidate key. So when AB is candidate key, all other attributes apart from AB, we are going to call them as non-prime attributes. So if there exists a dependency from one non-prime to another non-prime, we say there exists transitive dependency. Non-prime to non-prime, there exists some transitive dependency, and if there exists transitive dependency, then we say the relation is not in third normal form, and if the relation is not in third normal form, you need to decompose the relation in this fashion. C can be searched by AB, so you can separate it out. A can search DE, DE can search, or D can search IJ. So you can write it as ADEIJ, but you can write this as AD can search, sorry, A can search DE and then D can search IJ. So you can separate them in this fashion. And then here B can search F, so you can have a separate relation for that, and F can search GH. So you can have the relations in this fashion. So when you decompose this particular table in four different tables, then you say this decomposition or the relation after decomposition exists in third normal form. So if you like this video, if you understand this video, try to share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel over here. Thank you.